Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi holds talks with his Jamaican counterpart Andrew Holness in New Delhi. It's the first ever visit to India by a Jamaican premier. Polls close in the third and last phase of election in India's Jammu and Kashmir. 56% voter turnout recorded till 3 p.m. local time. Japan's Prime Minister Ishiba Shigeru names a mix of rivals and allies to cabinet that includes only 2 women, fewer than half that of the previous government. Former Prime Minister of the Netherlands, Mark Rutte, takes over as NATO chief. His lists backing Ukraine as among his top priorities. And the UK closes its last coal-fired power plant, becomes the first G7 country to end its reliance on the fossil fuel to produce electricity. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi met his Jamaican counterpart Dr. Andrew Holness at New Delhi's Hyderabad House on Tuesday. This is his first visit to India and also the first ever bilateral visit of a Prime Minister of Jamaica to India. Earlier, Prime Minister Modi and Prime Minister Holness have met several times on the sidelines of multilateral meetings. The Jamaican leader also held delegation-level talks with Prime Minister Modi. The two leaders discussed about ways to further strengthen ties and enhance cooperation in trade, investment, renewable energy, digital transformation, development partnership, education, capacity building, and people-to-people ties. Regional and global issues also came up for discussion. 4 memoranda of understanding were signed between the two countries, focusing on areas such as technology, education, culture, and trade. The MoUs signed include those on cooperation on sharing of digital public infrastructure in financial inclusion, e-payment, cultural exchanges, and cooperation in sport. Prime Minister Modi said India has always been a trustworthy and committed development partner for Jamaica.
4 C's हमारे संबंधों को अंकित करते हैं। कल्चर, क्रिकेट, कॉमनवेल्थ और कैरिकॉम। आज की बैठक में हमने सभी क्षेत्रों में अपना सहयोग सुदृढ़ करने पर विचार किया और कई नए इनिशिएटिव्स की पहचान की। भारत और जमैका के बीच व्यापार और निवेश में वृद्धि हो रही है। जमैका की विकास यात्रा में भारत सदैव एक विश्वसनीय और प्रतिबद्ध डेवलपमेंट पार्टनर रहा है। इस दिशा में हमारे सभी प्रयास जमैका के लोगों की आवश्यकताओं पर आधारित रहे हैं। आईटेक तथा आईसीसीआर स्कॉलरशिप के माध्यम से हमने जमैका के लोगों के स्किल डेवलपमेंट और कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग में योगदान दिया है।
And for his part, the Jamaican leader thanked India for its support during COVID-19 pandemic.
Having had very fruitful talks with Prime Minister Modi, I can say with confidence that today heralds a new phase in Jamaica-India bilateral relations. I must convey on behalf of the government and people of Jamaica our sincere gratitude to the government and people of India for the tremendous support provided to us during our time of need as part of your vaccine friendship scheme. We are immensely grateful that we could count on India as a true friend and partner.
Polling has closed for the third and last phase of election in India's Jammu and Kashmir. The Union Territory recorded 56% voter turnout till 3 p.m. local time. Arrangements were made to ensure a terror-free and peaceful polling.
I live in Batidi and my polling station is in Batidi. It's a high school. I have cast my vote in the morning. Just now I am coming from there. The whole of the polling staff is very helpful, and I was the second person to cast vote on my polling station, and I am satisfied with all the arrangements. I appeal to everybody that they should come and cast their vote for their candidates so that we are a participant to the democratic process of the
61.38% people had voted in the first phase held on 18 September and 57.31% in the second phase on 26th of September. Votes will be counted on the 8th of October. All right, let's take you now to a Ministry of External Affairs briefing taking place in New Delhi.
Secretary, sir, to give his opening remarks. So, over to you.
Thank you, Randy. As you all know, the Prime Minister of Jamaica, the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, is paying an official visit to India at the invitation of Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi. I would like to share with you some highlights of the visit, and then if you have any questions, I will take them. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness arrived yesterday. This is his first visit to India and also the first ever visit by a Prime Minister of Jamaica to India. The two Prime Ministers had a delegation level meeting today, and they had wide-ranging discussions on each issues of bilateral interest and regional and international issues. They identified digitalization, health and medicine, sports cooperation, defense, education, trade, agriculture, infrastructure, culture, skill development, and capacity building as pillars of strengthening bilateral relations. Prime Minister hosted a banquet lunch for the visiting Prime Minister. Both Prime Ministers witnessed exchange of MoUs in different fields. These include cooperation in digital public infrastructure, in digital public, in UPI, and in culture and in sports. Prime Minister Holness has also called on Honorable President of India and Honorable Vice President of India during the day and has a number of other ministerial meetings also scheduled. As a special gesture befitting our very close relations, a street in front of the Jamaican High Commission was named as Jamaica Marg yesterday. As you know, India and Jamaica share a very strong historical, cultural relations reflected in our shared past, our values of democracy and freedom, and passion for cricket. This visit is expected to bolster our bilateral relations and enhance our economic cooperation, solidifying these long-standing bonds. There will also be a business interaction between the Prime Minister and his delegation. This is being organized by CII. The four MOUs that were signed today, the MOU on sharing cooperation in the field of sharing successful digital public infrastructure is aimed at promoting financial inclusion and social and economic transformation. As you know, India has demonstrated demonstrative leadership in this area, and has successfully provided public services even during COVID-19. And many countries have expressed their interest in learning and entering into MoUs with India in this field. These solutions are already successfully implemented on population scale in India, and by collaborating with India, Jamaica can leverage the development partnership on digital transformation. Another MoU was on an MoU between NPCI International Payments Limited and eGov Jamaica Limited. This MoU lays the foundation for both countries to assess collaboration in digital payments. Jamaica should be able to not only enhance digital payment capabilities for personal and merchant payments in an interoperable way, but also pave the way for digital inclusion. An MoU on cultural exchange program was signed, which extends the cultural exchange program from 2024 to 2029. This will strengthen our bilateral cooperation activities between cultural institutions of both sides. An MoU on sports between the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports and the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sports of Jamaica will establish a framework for developing and implementing detailed proposals for cooperative programs in this area. You would have seen the press statements made by both the Prime Ministers. Our Prime Minister highlighted that our relationship is defined by 4 C's: culture, cricket, Commonwealth, and the Caribbean. And the Jamaican Prime Minister acknowledged the contribution made by Indians in the development of Jamaica. As you know, there are about 70,000 diaspora of Indian origin who have been in Jamaica for more than 150 years, and their contribution to Jamaica was acknowledged. Prime Minister proposed that since next year, 2025, is the 180th year of the arrival of Indians in Jamaica, it should be suitably commemorated by both countries, and this was warmly accepted by Prime Minister Holness. In fact, Prime Minister Holness also gifted to Prime Minister a photograph of his own visit to Jamaica in 1999, where he interacted with the diaspora there. And this was even before he had become Chief Minister of the Gujarat state. That was a touching gesture from the Prime Minister of Jamaica. The Jamaican Prime Minister also expected gesture from the Prime Minister of Jamaica. The Jamaican Prime Minister also expressed his gratitude to the Government of India for the assistance that was received during the COVID pandemic, including 50,000 vaccines that were provided by India. He appreciated India's global advocacy and leadership in matters affecting developing countries such as climate change, and also for providing a voice for the global South. In fact, Jamaica has participated in all 3 iterations of the Voice of Global South Summit. The Prime Minister of Jamaica also announced Jamaica's intention to join the Global Biofuels Alliance, which is spearheaded by India. They are already a member of the Solar Alliance and also the CDRI. He shared views on the reform of the United Nations, in particular the Security Council, and said that it is necessary to ensure that its composition is reflective of the current balance of power and the emergence of new leaders like India. He confirmed that Jamaica will support India's candidature for UN Security Council non-permanent member for the term 2028-2029. He also expressed his deep appreciation at the revolution brought about by digital public infrastructure in India in respect to the direct benefit transfers, and said that Jamaica wanted to benefit from flagship products like Aadhaar and UPI. On education, both sides agreed to cooperate. Jamaica was interested in sharing curriculum, technology in education, and the recruitment of teachers, especially in STEM areas. Prime Minister Holness also expressed his deep appreciation for India's contribution to the scoreboards on Sabina Park and also the flood lighting that is being done there. The Jamaican Prime Minister also appreciated capacity building programs that India has contributed to, especially in the field of defense, where 3 officer cadets are currently undergoing training in India. Coast Guard capacity building was also identified as an area of cooperation. From Delhi, the Prime Minister will travel to Sarnath and also to Varanasi, where he will witness the Ganga Aarti tomorrow. He will also subsequently the next day visit the Parliament complex. So this is all I have for you for now. If you have any questions, I'd be very happy to try and respond to them.
Uma first.
Sir, I'm Huma Siddiqui from the Financial Express. You mentioned that the two sides also discussed defense and security. What exactly are they looking for from India in defense and security? And there was also some talk a while ago about getting some kind of a software to deal with the narcotics movement on the border of Jamaica, if that was also part of the discussion.
Sahil.
Sir, I'm Sahil from ANI. You talked about the DPI and any roadmap ahead. When can that be functional in Jamaica?
Siddhant.
Siddhant from WION. So my first question is, the Prime Minister mentioned about capacity building when it comes to defense. So if you can elaborate on that aspect. And secondly, on a lighter note, how much cricket was discussed between the two leaders? We saw the Prime Minister mentioning it several times.
So this is
Okay, one more.
So what's the discussion about Global Biofuel Alliance and on Global South?
I think the question on defense and security I will take together. As I said, Prime Minister Holness deeply appreciated the capacity building that we provide. We have 5 defense high-tech slots for Jamaicans every year. This year there were 3 officer cadets who were undergoing officer training here. He especially appreciated the fact that technology is such a strong component of our training in defense, and he said that his officers really benefited from that, and that he would like to integrate technology into their defense systems, and he was looking to India to help them with that. We also discussed how Coast Guard cooperation could develop in the area of defense and security. Jamaica is particularly concerned about transnational organized crime, including drug trafficking and cybercrime. So these were issues that were discussed, and it was agreed that we would carry forward our cooperation in these respects. About UPI, no timeline has been fixed. Both sides have just signed an MoU, and they will explore. As you know, Jamaica has their own payment system called GEMDEX, and so they will see how to integrate the two. And the fact is that that the Jamaican side is very keen to learn from our experience with UPI and how to replicate it in Jamaica. A lot was discussed regarding cricket. In fact, Chris Gayle was there at Prime Minister's lunch as well, and so there was plenty of discussion about cricket and the contributions of Jamaica to the world of cricket, and how there are such icons of as Courtney Walsh and Chris Gayle are so popular in India. So yes, I would say in all the meetings, cricket did come up as a natural subject for discussion. Global Biofuels Alliance, since Jamaica is also a sugarcane growing country, so Prime Minister encouraged the Jamaican Prime Minister to join the Biofuels Alliance, and he in fact announced by himself that they were considering joining it in the very near future. Regarding the voice of the Global South, as I have already said, the Prime Minister appreciated India's leadership role and the fact that India, both in the G20 and also through the Voice of the Global South summits, is able to harness the voices of smaller developing countries and to express it in the global platform so that their interests are taken care of. I hope I've covered all the ones up till now. Yes.
Please.
Good afternoon, I'm Preeti. Regarding trade and investment, what kind of investments are we looking at both the sides?
Please.
Sir, there was a talk of getting the Jamaican rum and I think cigar was as part of the trade. They were having some issues related to the tariffs. Was that discussed?
As far as investments is concerned, the Prime Minister did make the point that Jamaica is really located in a very convenient position within the Caribbean, and that is why so many of our BPOs have invested there, and he invited further investment by our IT and BPO companies in Jamaica, and also he's going to have an interaction with CII tonight in fact, in which they will identify what are the areas that Jamaica is looking for inward investment and what opportunities can be offered to our industry. As far as rum is concerned, no, this was not discussed. Yeah, no, tariffs on rum were not discussed.
Do we have more questions? Sudan?
Hi sir, I'm Siddharth from CNN News 18. Sir, if you could elaborate a little bit about on his visit to Varanasi, sir, his engagements in Varanasi. Will he be visiting the temple, the corridor and other places? Thank you.
In Varanasi, the Prime Minister will be visiting the crafts workshops, and then he will be taking a boat ride on the Ganga to witness the Ganga Aarti. But he will before that visit Sarnath as well. Yes. No.
Is there a figure? And in the Caribbean, is that the highest?
It is about $120 million or so. Almost overwhelmingly India's exports to Jamaica, which includes things like pharmaceuticals, vehicles and other products. In terms of the Caribbean, it is, I think, our fourth in the Caribbean, fourth largest. Somewhere like that, around the fourth or fifth largest in the Caribbean.
Any more questions? If we don't have one, then thank you very much. Please keep following the visit. He's for several days now. So we look forward to being in touch. Thank you very much.
All right, you are watching a press conference by India's Ministry of External Affairs in New Delhi on the ongoing visit to India by Jamaica's Prime Minister. Right, in other news, India's superb display of teamwork stole the show at Kanpur as India beat Bangladesh in a two-match test series. In the second test, India won by 7 wickets and in the process created many records. And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of DD India Live. You can get all the latest news and updates on the DD India mobile app. It's available on Android and iOS platforms. You can scan the QR code on the screen now to download it. So let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can connect with us on Facebook, X and Instagram. You can also check out our website ddindia.co.in. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. From all of us here in New Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.